Welcome to this new episode of the podcast. Has been quite a while, actually. The goal was basically to see how I could reformat the production of the podcast, but also of the YouTube channel, the channels, the playlists. I didn't expect so much people to watch all those videos or listen to the podcast. And basically the idea was to take a little of a break and think about how I would produce it to make it more in phase with what the public is requesting. So finally I came to the conclusion that the podcast as is, basically most of you listen to dialogues. The recap like this one is probably going to be the last for those who listen in our under Spotify or Apple Podcast and the usual podcast channels. I will include this information in the second part of the dialogues. But if you want the same version of the podcast, it'll still be there, but through the YouTube podcast channel. So that'd be it. That might be easier for those of you who don't care really about the recap of the technical stuff and the other things going on YouTube. But know that you have the choice now. But the regularity won't be as usual. It will be quite random, actually, depending on the dialogues I have access to or the news. So that's it. That's the last recap. Old school for now. So let's continue. And the first thing is the keywords for the word hunt. So basically every month on the Photo Collective, you have new keywords to go hunt photographs in the streets or create some works of art. And this month, the 3 random words taken by the system were account, his, and professor. In French, it's compte, C-O-M-P-T-E, son et professeur. And basically, you can hashtag with those words and publish on the social networks. It's a good occasion to go alone or with friends. Try to make photos with those words. So that's it for the month of October. You'll also find them on the photocollective.net website, pcll.tv, or on the Instagram account, pclltv, in one word. And otherwise, there's still a recap of what was going on YouTube, even though the podcast wasn't that intense. Not at all, actually. A few episodes came out the last months. So mainly Von Cam, where I talk about technical stuff. And I did a small review of the Ars Hori 50mm f2.0 lens. Very affordable and quite multi-potent lens. Not very expensive, as I said, but really good quality, quite surprising, nice to use. So a review with examples. It took me a few months to do that. I try to make it as natural as can be. I really try to use the equipment before doing a review. Then a new playlist, which is named Tracks. It's kind of into Von Cam, but many listeners and viewers have made the request of seeing how I test my equipment and how I go take pictures. So I thought, let's try to find a format that doesn't impede too much on my habits. And so Tracks is this new playlist. The first episode is in La Barriette. It's between the Swiss and the French Jura Mountains. And I was using the Rolleiflex SL2000F camera for the first time with different films. Medium format chambers, a Lenovo Technica 612 PC, the Ars Hori lens I talked about before, and quite many films and lenses, also the Olympus XA1. So if you want to go see how that works out, maybe you'll like it. Kind of a small adventure, how I go hike and take pictures. Then an episode of Matnum, where I talk about the matière numérique, digital matter, where I talk about the photos I take with my own software, which is basically my Camerare iOS app, and show what I did and how my algorithms actually work into my own practice. Not much more for this episode. And a last Von Cam episode, actually a few days ago, 2 days ago, where I talk about this TT Artisan lens, the 35mm f5.6 fixed aperture, super compact, very flat, very affordable. quite surprising. It's not a focal lens I really appreciate. I'm not very good with wide angles. And yeah, I was quite surprised of the results. It's got an integrated cap. It's super practical. I kind of forget it. And that's a review of it with a few examples too. So yeah, here's basically the episodes for this recap for this month. And next month, the recap will only be on the YouTube podcast version. Otherwise, the podcast should come once in a while when I have good invitees or good subjects or some news on the other channels, basically running around Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So don't hesitate to send a voice message through the answering machine of the podcast on Spotify, or comment on the YouTube channels, on the YouTube videos, or even contact me through Instagram. And yeah, catch you next time.